Welcome everyone around the world to another episode of It's a Wrap with Rap. I am your host, Ron Rappaport. I would like to thank all of our great listeners and viewers, supporters, and sponsors for helping to make this podcast such a success. We are being heard and viewed in all 50 states, all provinces of Canada, and over 70 countries around the world. Please visit our website, itsawrapwithrap.com, to find all the episodes, previews of future episodes, and unique products offered from our sponsors. This podcast features people who have overcome life's challenges and adversities, people who can inspire, motivate, and educate us on an assortment of topics. My guest today is Michaell Magrutsche. Michaell is an Austrian-California multimedia artist, awareness and creativity educator, speaker, podcaster, and author of his book, The Smart of Art, and several other books as well. Artists who are aware of themselves as artists bring a fresh awareness to their work. To do that, we must first free the boundless art system whose only desire is to be created and shown to the world from the ever-dependent economic system which determines our values. Michaell will describe to us how he coped with and overcame various problems in his life and will educate us about mankind and how we might realize our human potential. Not fitting in due to your circumstances in life is a challenge. When Michaell discovered art, he expressed himself and cultivated happiness and balance in his life and coped with other people. Michaell will teach us some things about the way of art that develops an artistic expression of consciousness, helps us awaken our enthusiasm for one another, and helps us to leverage art and creativity as a human superpower to reach our potential and our promised life. Welcome, Michaell, to the podcast. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks, Ron, for having me. Thanks for having a canvas where I can paint.
I love the background you have. Now, to understand you as a person, let's go back to your early years and tell us about that time frame and the challenges you faced in those early years and other things you faced in your life.
So I was born in Vienna, Austria, and I was a sick child. And they held me back on the school till 7. And then when I got in this 7 in school, I got the second punch. And I was extremely neurodiverse. And at that time, they say, okay, you're dyslexic. Okay, that's it, but you still have to read. You still have to do everything everybody else does. Okay, but you're dyslexic. So what? I didn't get any advantage of it. I did 8 years of school. And after 8 years, I had to repeat 2 of them because I'm a very A personality. I'm a very, I'm not somebody that waits around. They say, I got to do it,
Right.
And I couldn't. I just couldn't. I just couldn't understand. I could understand it, but I couldn't regurgitate. And this is up to now. This is up to now till I was sick till I was 50. And then I finally wrote my book because I couldn't handle that 99% of artists are poor around the world. And I couldn't even imagine a world without art. I mean, can you imagine how boring that would be?
No,
There's
that would
no
be very
art.
boring. Absolutely.
Yeah.
People were like
And
without music.
Yeah. I mean, imagine.
Yeah.
And I said, why am 99% poor? And I wrote that book and I segregated from that what came out was it's all about the product. And the product is like a commodity. And even the artists have a magical experience creating. And then if that doesn't sell their product, their art product, they deny that they had this wonderful experience creating it. And so I started, wrote this book, and also I started a podcast that's 30 seconds, which every Saturday. And it's all about the creation because the creation is so powerful. And I learned everything, my self-esteem, my self-confidence, my strengths all comes from art creation. Obviously I went when I was young, I listened to all music and went to a museum as much as I could and all this stuff. But it turned me on so much for my own invention because, we are 8 billion people and every human is different. But what the science don't tell you, they say, yeah, we are all different, but they don't tell you that we also have a different life perspective. So there's 8 billion life perspectives. Just look at family, right? Sure. They should all think the same, but they're not. never.
Right.
So, but in systems, they have to generalize. They have to say, "Oh, you're from New York. I'm from LA. Oh, I was in Austria." It's all, everything is a generalization. And when you generalize humans, they become very stressed because they cannot be themselves, because nature gave us to be one of one, and we become very stressed. And then in all systems, it's about money, because every system works on financial principles, and there's no balance either in that. There's only, you get punished if you don't pay your taxes. You run a red light, you get punished. There's never a reward. Say, hey, Ron, you paid your taxes 5 years. You know what? We would just want to tell you, you're really a great citizen of New York. Would that be hard, especially with today with AI? Would that be hard to do when you do the right job? And it's
It
never
wouldn't be
enough.
hard, but it's not going to happen. You're right.
Yeah. And it's never, so we have a collective feeling of, and there's nobody excused, there's nobody excluded. It's never enough, no matter what we do. That's why millionaires kill themselves. That's why rich people get all crazy. And that's why we hurt other humans, because when you take a living being and put it in a corner and pressure it, not only to show your uniqueness, but also pressure it and say, you got to work harder. You got to do more. You got to do, now you make $1,000, but tomorrow you have to make $2,000. And that push makes us inhumane. We can't think rationally anymore. And that's everyone. And I was always thinking, yeah, the rich people, they have it all. No, you and I live a more relaxed life, and we're not than Elon Musk stuff. When they build bunkers, they're completely, the pressure that rich and famous people have is insane, because they are now surrounded by their 20 people,
Yeah.
and they totally disconnect from humanity.
Yeah, I
And so they
agree.
can't even lose that. So they need 100 million a month. And when you push that, then you say, it doesn't matter what to do. I don't care if people die. Consequently, we got to do it. And nobody's excused. You see, if there were two people that say, oh, it doesn't affect us. No, even the richest people are affected from that because they're afraid of losing it.
I have to go backtrack to something you said about creation.
Yeah.
I created this podcast
Mm,
uh, from really nothing.
exactly.
Did it all myself. One day, there was a genesis of it where I was going on other podcasts to advocate for my cause, male breast cancer. And somebody said to me, "Hey, why don't you start your own podcast?" I said, "Why would I do that? I mean, come on." And they said, "Well, you have an interesting voice." Anyway, I gave it a try, and there's nothing as satisfying as that creation. And
Mhm.
it really kind of balances you, like I don't need $1 million. I'm just
Yeah.
happy being a creator and seeing the fruits of my creation. But moving on, you need to have things happening at your own cadence. So you had to develop your own system that did not conform to the quote normal system of doing things. Tell
Mhm.
us about what were some of your actions throughout your life that broke some patterns.
First of all, I couldn't develop replicate, and I was a sick child, and I was always sick my whole life, sick till 50. And so I was the sick kid, so I was always the sick kid. And that was my pattern. If you want to call that is my pattern. So I had to always be watch out. I couldn't get drunk. I couldn't get, smoke pot. I couldn't do all the crazy stuff the other kids do, which I'm not upset that I didn't do it, but I'm saying I couldn't experience certain things that other kids do. And uh, the art creation was literally, when I saw the art creation, it's like you. I mean, you don't know, when you started your podcast, you didn't know what to do, and all
No,
of a sudden you start dancing with the guests. First you said, I'm gonna be all prepared, I'm asking exactly, and speak, I'm going to the Toastmasters, and I failed horrible in Toastmasters. I tried 5 6 different Toastmasters, And I failed because I'm so neurodivergent. And in Toastmasters, you have to regurgitate. You have to make a presentation of one talk. I can dance with, but I had to do 200 podcasts to guesting all over the world to learn how to dance with people, because it's natural for us to dance with each other. So if you and I start singing, most people won't like it, but the people in the world would understand it with the six senses. Oh, it's a sad song, it's a happy song. And that's the power, because I call us humans, we are a species of nature, and our species is a collaborative creator animal. We created Singapore, New York, Google, Apple. It's collaborative, not Steve Jobs created it. No, we collaboratively helped creating it, and that's our strengths. So that's our artwork. That's our collective artwork, right?
Right.
And then we live in that artwork, and in that artwork is obviously impossible because we created it. It's not like nature. I have gravity and I can't help it. Obviously, the gravity we can't fight, but we can do so many other things. You know, I can make a hierarchy where you are the king and I'm the peasant, which doesn't exist in nature. And that's why I say the segregation of your life view between system relevant, you know, I'm a good accountant, I'm a good citizen, I'm a New Yorker, I'm a LA person. And what is human, it's human centric, being a part of nature, needing to sleep at night, needing to reset when we go, you know, today people fly in 2 weeks, fly all around the world. They say, we have a world trip in 2 weeks. You tell me, and you are at a certain age like me, where how can you digest that? I don't care how computer savvy you are. How
Yeah.
can you digest 2 weeks, this beautiful world in 2 weeks? It is impossible. You
I
know,
agree. What did you want to accomplish when you started out painting?
I want what everybody wanted, but I want to be a famous painter. So I started painting actually when I couldn't find anything in galleries that I liked. And my best friend from Austria said, you know, your uncle was on the academy and whatever, and you painted with him. So just paint something. Yeah. And I painted it, and my ego was saying, that's horrible, you know?
Yeah.
And he says, just hang it up. Just hang it up and stay 2 months. And if you handle it 2 months, then you can throw it away. And I start loving it. And it really, the horrible paintings, the first two, really activated me to create more. And all of a sudden I saw what I couldn't see because I was all system relevant. I tried to be system relevant. Everything is, you know, what you have to do to fit in. And I
Yeah.
couldn't, obviously. And that's how I learned about art creation. You know, I knew all about, you know, the art, but that really got me into art creation. And then I made music, and now I'm writing a lot, but it's my expression of, you know, also it's very much the same energy.
What is the one thing you wish you had known when you began your career?
I wanted that we are one of one, that we are not collective. Human is a species, and the species is defined by everybody is unique, and everybody's a human. And that the system defined even woman and man and race and sexuality. It you know, the definition of woman and man is a system definition, because other than mating season in nature, nobody cares who runs the flock, who does something. Uh, it's crazy. And then so I very much appreciate, and I always said that to all the women. I say, be happy that systems haven't equalized you. You're blessed for that, because if system would have said women are the same as men, you know what happens? It would make systems even more stronger and say, by nature you are weak, but we, the system, make you strong. The
Yeah.
system defined women in the first place,
Right.
that defined the race in the first place, you know?
Yeah.
It's just crazy, you know?
No, I definitely agree. Did any form of spirituality come into play, uh, forming your consciousness,
Uh,
coordination between yourself, subject matter, that type of thing?
yeah. Ron, I tried, but to, you know, we are DNA driven to belong together. You know, it's the balance is to see the balance is finding the space between your individuality, being one of one, and being all. And what I've tried, to get to school, I couldn't. Get a job, couldn't. I had to do tapes, sell tapes, and then start other creative jobs and stuff. And then I thought, and after study spirituality, and it didn't work for me at all. It was nice and relaxing. There was no pressure. The people are very pleasant, but I prefer the art community more than the spiritual. But I mean, it was interesting. I didn't learn. It's another system. It's another disturbance. And this brought me to this human centricity is the highest. When you go higher than human centricity, you go into vibrational, and that's not what we experience right now. The most real that you and I right now that we can experience is right now, that moment. It's not the future, it's not the past. It's this moment.
It's the moment we're in.
Tell me that. Yeah. And tell me, and so about, I want to have the truth. The truth is right now here. And the highest truth. And a lot of people don't like their body, which is the safest, they want to look differently. And that's where you feel the safest. And I had to learn that, even though I was a sick child, the safest, where you are the safest is in your body. Because even if you get tortured or whatever, your body is still where you're the safest, because you can't even exist without your body. I mean, not physical,
Yeah. Do you think everyone is creative, and what do you teach people being a creativity educator to discover their creative self and express their creativity?
Because we are, as I said, we are a collaborative creative animal. Every human is creative. But it's like if you and I say we want to run the New York Marathon tomorrow, we can't. But if we say that in a year, we might do it in a year or two, train for that. Yeah. So everybody is creative. And you hear that very often with business people that say, I'm a business thing, but I can't think, I can be not an artist. I'm a business person. And I say, you wouldn't even call yourself a business person if you weren't creative. Because especially business is like a chess player. It's a skill. It's not your reflection of your value anymore, especially since we have fiat currency. It's not the reflection of Ron and Michaell. It's how Ron and Michaell are skilled to play game the market. It's always the gaming the system. And that's an art form. That's like a trait, who is more creative.
Do you feel that the systems you talk about are being more adaptive to the people, or are the people supporting the systems?
If all humans die tomorrow, systems are irrelevant. If all the systems die tomorrow, there might be a lot of humans dying, but we would fix something. We would fix it, and we would create something new. I'm very much for system. People always think, yeah, but you say system relevance. No, I said, just look at system relevant always when you're just system relevant. I want to be the CEO. I want to have that money. I want to have a Porsche. I want to have this one. It segregates us. Always segregates. When you do human centrically and say, my thing does bicycles. I want to make money with bicycles. And then you look at the human centricity of that and said, updated and said, yeah, I want it because, people drive too much cars and all the stuff. I want to create a bicycle that you can't steal. I want to create a bicycle that is soft, has a soft seat, that is really comfortable, that whatever. So to support humans, to the humans that buy that.
Yeah.
And when you do that, I think they need to be updated, all systems. They are, because we're in the endless lag, it's never enough. Systems don't update, and people have to more and more adjust to system till they get crazy,
So this podcast focuses to a major extent on helping people overcome their life's challenges and adversities through all types of modalities. Now, since art is therapeutic, what are some coaching and guidance techniques you use to help people in need of this help?
It is a magical superpower, and I call it magical not because I believe in magic. I call it whatever is magic called is we can't explain it. So if we would have a cell phone in the 1800s, they would say it's magic. So it is what art is, art creation, especially not the product. Art creation, the product just makes you interested in art, but the creation of art is it contains the blueprint of what's possible for humans. So how many people watch a movie and get inspired? How many people hear somebody sing and they get an idea for something? It shows us what's possible. And it also is not dependent on the results, because even if it's not, the society doesn't like what you create. Like Ron, like your podcast, like say the society said it's the best podcast or the worst. That's not a value. The value is you creating it, because nobody can take that from you away. They can say you get an Oscar for your podcast. Okay, it's nice. Of course, everybody wants the Oscar. You get the Oscar, but the next day, and I know Oscar winners, and they said the same. This is the Olympic gold medal. You win it, and there's a lot of people that are very depressed after winning the thing, because the system relevant accolade is never gonna get you. It's just the price that you somehow say, I need to sacrifice my life to win that medal. But it is actually really a lie, big lie. It's the same as saying that when you get the job, then all your sacrifice and harm and that you did to your family and whatever is rectified. It's not. It's not. If you're not happy now, how can you be happy when you get a prize? That, also you're going to be so frustrated because you're so much sacrificing and suffering and bringing pain into the world that it's really not. It's not human centric at all. It's very system relevant behavior.
Yeah, I agree. Now, you have written several books. I find your book, Imagination, Micro Paintings, fascinating. Tell us about that book.
I was very curious about creativity. This was when I, started painting, and then I said, I want to challenge myself. I want to do 300 paintings in 3 days. And they're micro paintings. They're not big, they're like, whatever, like 4 inches by 4 inches or something.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do 300 paintings. And it was actually very hard at the beginning. So the first day went okay, but I dreaded the second day. And I got through the second day, and I was actually surprised to come up with stuff. And I thought, logically, because I was thinking system relevantly, I said, that probably I run out of my creativity, and the last 100 is going to be a total sacrifice. It's got to be total suffering. But I pushed on, and I want to see. And actually, the last 10 paintings are the best paintings, because you open, and I learned what I learned in that experience, and you have to experience and see. Nobody can take that away. And that's why art creation is so, like you created your podcast, right? It's the creation. Nobody can take this away. I thought I will delay the last, I won't come up with the last 20,
Yeah.
And actually the last 20 or the last 10 were really my favorites, because I trained to have my non-physical and physically open with the 300, and it got clearer. The communication got clearer. And when I showed it to other people, they said, oh yeah, it is really much better than the beginning. They're cute the beginning, but the last ones are really, and they're all abstract because I can't do representational because of my dyslexia and dysgraphia.
Briefly tell us about your book, The Smart of Art, and what you hope the reader takes away from it.
It's a clarity book. It's a clarity book that says, have you ever thought about judging? What is when people judge you? Because you're 101. Nobody is the expert. Nobody is you're 101, I'm 101. So I cannot, if I lose 100 pounds because I eat carrots, it can kill you. You know what I mean? It's like, we are all different. And that's why anytime you generalize system relevant, it always generalizes humans, like medicine and everything is generalized. And The Smart of Art, I wanted to really know why we are poor, why our artists are poor. And I found the issue. The issue is we experience a magic when creating, and then we deny the magic that we experience because we say, no, I'm not the number one. I didn't sell, like my friend sold for whatever, and I wanted to make clear on what happens when you go and show your work. How to hang your work is also in it, because most people don't even know how to hang art or place it. And yeah, it's clearing it's really segregating the art product from the art creation. And that gave me the spur to make my art podcast, which is only 30 seconds, where it's the same name, Smart of Art. To answer the question, it's just for you to contemplate that's our first superpower. Creation is our first superpower. And this is our second superpower, the dialogue, a human-centric dialogue, not a system where we talk about politics. And the third is adaptability, because if you and I don't adapt to each other, this cannot happen.
Give us some examples of your work you did outside the normal system pertaining to your work as a creator.
So 300 that I did the first, I participated in the first interactive, which is so long, we still had phones and everything, the theater play. We made that for the Austrian television thing. I did a Frisbee Funker. I called them Frisbee Funkers. And I did a ultimate Frisbee club because I was asthmatic. And that's the only thing that I could do. And actually, this was the first lifestyle brand. There was no life brand because it wasn't about the sport. It was about the social thing that we do, having sweatshirts. And I made money actually, printing a sweatshirt or t-shirt. And it was an income source for me. But it was so fun. We made parties. Everything was not system relevant. It was just fun. It was all about fun.
That's
And
something I think I would have enjoyed that.
Yeah. And the fun, and Ron, the thing is, that now they find it all out, but I knew that for a long time. When humans have fun, they're the most creative. The moment humans are serious, which is the system relevance, right? Be serious at your job and everything. It's constricting, very constricting. Because look at nature; all the animals play with each other.
Yeah.
It's a play, and in that play, I'm learning. Ron is a strong man. I'm not gonna fight him. Or I say, Ron is funny. And then, I learn when I play with you, I learn much more than when I say, okay, let's be serious and talk about it,
Yeah.
So,
I definitely see where you're coming from. Now, for those out there struggling through whatever life challenge or adversity they have, what words of wisdom do you have for them to overcome?
Mm-hmm. I say nature doesn't make mistakes. Even science says nature doesn't make mistakes. So why you are not one of 8 billion, you're one of 8 billion with unique life perspective, and the nature doesn't make mistakes. I always say that to young kids because there's so much higher suicide rate right now. I say, you are nothing, and life is not to copy others. You copy other people because you are DNA driven to be one. But when once, we're all driven. That's why we're on the cell phone. Then you see kids on the phone. And when I see kids on the phone, I say that it's okay to be on the phone. I don't want to take that away. I just want to tell you the reason why you guys are all locked on the phone is to see what the humanity does. That's why we watch news. It's to be connected with the world. We have a drive to be one, sitting all in the same boat. And that reflects in various ways. And I would say to every human, you are one of one. And, life is figuring that out. You doing your podcast, I doing my art. And you learn more from that than having a job. Because the job is not individual, it's generalized. Okay, you're a bookkeeper, so then be a bookkeeper,
Yeah. Are you working on any new projects?
Yeah, I work a lot of stuff, but I do it primarily for the joy. I don't do it to make money. I do it primarily for the joy of it, and then I make money. That's good. That's a nice thing on top. But I do it primarily for whatever fulfills me, because fulfillment is very great. That's also for your listeners. Fulfillment is a great thing because what fulfills me doesn't fulfill you. So it's very unique. It's for your oneness. So when you chase fulfillment, then you know for sure you're on the right path. And fulfillment, I don't mean gluttony and lust. I mean what we're doing right now. We're both dancing, and
Yeah.
it's very fulfilling to do that. And then you know you're on the right path when you do that. And yeah, I had a talk this morning, opening promotional podcast. They want to do a TV show and radio. They want actually a network. They want to in Cape Town about it's called human centricity in the new world, and all their programs are from the octopus movement, which is all neurodivergent people. So I got all these various shows mine, and we give them to South Africa so they can, because I tell you one thing, these people are not so far like we are, so because we are so long in generation in systems, we don't even get that. They get it in 5 minutes. Ron, I've never seen something. I was invited to Nigeria for a weekend seminar. I couldn't believe how people got that.
Really?
I have such a hard time in the white because they're not segregated from nature that long.
Yeah.
They're still living. They're also living in modern buildings, and so they're not living in huts
Oh,
yeah.
sure, sure.
But they haven't been segregated from nature for so long, so they have a better feeling of that. They find me welcoming. They invited me to be part, and also these people in South Africa invited me to be part of it because they resonate with that message that it makes life 50% easier. Once you get that, and you know our systems are our artworks, are collective, and we can change anything in systems, you know?
I can
So
tell
we don't
that
have to
your
have war.
I can tell that your line of thinking makes you a happy person.
Yeah,
Am I right?
100%.
Yeah.
It will make you right. If you read my article, and we can add that to your episode, the human centricity and system relevance. And I wasn't happy. Ron, I wasn't happy till 50. It took me 50 years. And I was working with Robert Evans. I lived in his house with Godfather and all this stuff. No education, by the way. I was Arts Commissioner of Newport Beach. I wasn't fulfilled. And now I can tell you, even I had all these system relevant accolades. I never felt as happy as with you right now.
That's awesome.
It's
That's
just
awesome. That's awesome. How can people contact you?
michaelm.com, Michael with 2 L's, michaelm.com. And that's everything. That's my music, paintings, books. You can read my articles, or everything for free, podcast access, everything. And it's, I like to make, I like to tell people nothing. I like to help them widen their perspective to become more of who they are. I'm kind of a turbocharger for humans. I turbocharge them. I said, you read my thing, you're turbocharged your uniqueness, Ron. That's what
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Michael, what you're doing. I want to thank you, Michael, for being a guest on the podcast and sharing this valuable
Yeah.
subject matter with us. And I wish you all the best with your work going forward.
Anytime.
I really do.
Anytime, Ron, you call me, and I'm back every time. And if there's questions, and we can do questions, whatever you want,
We're
whatever
going to
happens.
have you back,
Let's see
and
what happens.
I encourage everybody to listen to his podcast. It's
Yeah.
it's
30
wonderful.
seconds.
Yeah,
Everybody has 30 seconds.
everybody.
Yeah.
I know myself and my audience learned a lot from hearing what you had to say. Thanks again. For everybody out there, comments and suggestions for the podcast, You can email me at itsarapwithrap@gmail.com. Our Facebook is It's a Rap with Rap. We have a Facebook group. We have a couple thousand people in there. Instagram, It's a Rap with Rap podcast. We're on Twitter, or X as it's commonly known now, at Rapper, WRAPPER 130. We're on YouTube. All the episodes are on YouTube. It's a Rap with Rap, the podcast uncut. And our website is itsarapwithrap.com. I want to thank everyone for listening. Everybody, please stay safe out there. And for now, it's a wrap.